Jai Hind and welcome back to the online class of English. So continuing with the last chapter, that is Deep Water by William O. Douglas. Let us begin with the explanation. So last time I left here, I am starting from here. The explanation I am starting from here. So till now we have seen that William O. Douglas, he met with an incident which has affected his life. He developed a fear for water, and he always been afraid of water, and he was so much frightened that he was not been able to overcome his fear. Though he started, and this fear has ruined his all adventurous trips like fishing. Okay, so now let us continue. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me. A rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. He held on to the end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. Each time, the instructor relaxed his hold on the rope and I went under. Some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale, and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went under water. So, dear students, let us first see the difficult words and their meaning, and then we will move ahead with the explanation part. Okay. So, the first word is cable. Cable means thick rope. You all have seen cable, which is used when you do your zip line activity also. That cable is used. Okay. Slack means to reduce. Just wait, let me show you where these words it's been used. Here is cable, and then here it is slack. Slack means to reduce, कम हो जाना, उसका जो डर था वो कम हो गया था. Okay, so slack means to reduce. Okay, the next word is shed. S-H-E-D, shed. So that shed means removed. Okay, panic, you all know. Panic means fear, and seized means gripped. Okay, so now let us begin with the explanation. William tried hard, okay, and he wanted to ward off the fear but was unable to get rid of it. So finally, in the month of October, he hired an instructor to teach him swimming. This is what he decided, that let me hire an instructor. He would practice for an hour each day, 5 days a week. So very hard, he was practicing very hard. William describes the learning process. Further, he describes that how he has learned swimming. The instructor put a belt around William's waist. The belt was attached to a thick rope. The rope went through an overhead pulley and was held by the instructor. तो एक एंड से इंस्ट्रक्टर उसको पकड़ के रखता था, right? Just to have a proper security and safety. It ensured that in case William drowned, the instructor would pull him out. William swam across the length of the pool for several weeks. Whenever the instructor loosened the rope, he went down into the water and the fear would return. So as his instructor used to loosen the rope, and he dips inside the deep water, that the incident which he met with when he was 10 years old, so that fear would return. It would immobilize his legs, unable to move. It was after 3 months of practice that William got comfortable. Then the instructor taught him to breathe in the water. So he took 3 months to be comfortable with the water. Further, the instructor taught him to breathe in the water. He taught him to put his face under the water and exhale his breath. So instructor taught him how to inhale and exhale underwater. He was taught to raise his nose out of the water and inhale. Okay, so these are the few basic techniques which are used while swimming. You students might be knowing much better than me. Okay, William practiced several times. So the focus is on that he practiced very hard. This is the focus over here in this paragraph. Gradually he got rid of the panic that would grab him when he put his head under the water. So finally he was able to overcome his fear, though not overcome, but yes, the fear was reduced a bit. Okay, the intensity has been reduced. Now let us move. Next, he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For weeks I did just that. At first my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed, and finally I could command them. Okay, so command means, you all know, order. So in the third phase of the learning process, so the first phase was already been told that he used to loose the rope and he used to go towards the deep water, and instructor used to hold the rope from one end. Second phase was how to inhale and exhale, and in the third phase of the learning, the instructor taught William to kick the water surface with his legs. So you should be careful what are the all three phases. Okay, he did this for many weeks. Initially, his legs did not move, but gradually they relaxed, and finally, William could order them to kick in the desired way. So he was able to have a hold on his legs, and he was able to, kick his legs in the water. Okay, now let us move forward. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer. Who built a swimmer? Instructor. Why piece by piece? Because he has taught William swimming in phases. Okay, that is why piece by piece he built a swimmer. And when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. So he taught in different phases, and when he thought that every piece has been perfect, it's been perfect now, then he integrated all of them. In April, he said, "Now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool. Crawl, stroke." Stroke. What is stroke? Here it is. Let me show you. Stroke means a particular style of moving the arms and legs in swimming. A particular style of moving the arms and legs in swimming, that is known as stroke. So finally the instructor made a swimmer out of William in phases. Okay, when William had perfected each phase, he compiled them. In the month of April, the instructor told William that now he could swim. He asked him to dive into the pool and swim the length of the pool in a particular style called the crawl stroke. Okay, I did. The instructor was finished. What does it mean? The instructor was finished means the instructor was dead. No, it doesn't mean this. Here it means William swam and the classes came to an end. Okay. See, here the sentence, the instructor was finished. It doesn't mean that the instructor was no more over there, or no. It means that the classes came to an end. Okay. But I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. But now I could frown and say to that terror, "Trying to scare me, Well, here's to you, look." And off I would go for rather length of the pool. So, William had not overcome the fear yet. Okay, but I was not finished, no? So that means William had not overcome the fear yet and wondered if the terror would grab him when he would be alone in the water. He tried to swim alone in the pool without instructor, without anybody else. So the terror returned in small phases. And what happened? The terror, it started returning back, okay, in small phases, in a little small amount. But now, as he knew how to swim, he faced the terror with confidence. And you can see the confidence here. These lines shows, sorry, not these lines. Wait, yes, here it is. These lines shows his confidence. So, and he faced the terror with confidence. He swam another length of the pool, means gradually he was able to overcome that fear. And these two lines shows that he was very much confident, as he knew how to swim now. He has learned how to swim. This went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. So I went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived off a dock at Triggs Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake to Stamp Act Island. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. So, students, these are the strokes which he has used, which can be asked in the form of MCQs. These strokes here. Okay, so the crawl stroke, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. Only once did the terror return, when I was in the middle of the lake. I put my face under and saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. Miniature means small size. Miniature means small size. And in the above passage there was a word vestiges. I did not tell you the meaning, sorry. Vestiges means traces, small traces. Okay, so a miniature. I laughed and said, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" It fled and I swam on. So again this line, beta, students, pay attention. This line shows the writer's confidence, the author's confidence. Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me? And this is a prominent line which can be asked in the form of prose. Okay, for multiple choice questions. So this is it fled and I swam on. Now let us begin with the explanation part. Okay, so See the what writer is telling us here. William swam like this till the month of July. Like April, his instructor said that your classes has it's over now and you can swim different strokes in the pool. So till July he swam in the pool, but he was not satisfied. Still he was not satisfied. He wanted to be sure that all of the fear had left him. Like he wanted to see whether if he will swim in a lake or in a river, is he able to or not. Okay, so he went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived into it from Triggs Island and swam for 2 miles up to Stamp Act Island. He swam in different styles in that lake, like crawl, breaststroke, side stroke and backstroke. Okay, these are the few styles of swimming. The terror returned only once when he was in the middle of the lake. So once he was in the middle of the lake, no, again that terror came to his mind. But what he did, when he put his head underwater, he saw water all around and the fear returned. This time he was not afraid. In fact, William laughed at the terror and said to it that it could not harm him. He saw that the terror vanished and he resumed swimming. Okay, now let's see. Yet I had residual doubts. Residual means some doubts are still left. Still he has little bit of doubts in his mind. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up to the Teton to Conrad Meadows, up the Conrad Creek Trail to meet Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of Warm Lake. So these are the name of the places. Okay, do not get confused. The next morning I stripped, dived into the lake and swam across to the other shore and back, just as Doc Cochran used to do. I shouted with joy and Gilbert Peak returned the echo. Gilbert Peak, again a name of a mountain peak name. It returned the echo means the voice came back. I had conquered my fear of water. So William still had some doubt about the fear. So he hurried towards the western direction. He went up the Teton, reached Conrad Meadows, walked up the Conrad Creek Trail to meet Glacier. He camped at the meadow by the Warm Lake. The next means he stayed over there. He stayed at the meadow. Meadow means the green grasslands. Okay, so that is called meadow. So he camped over there means he stayed over there. And the next morning he wore the swimming costume and dived into the lake. He swam across it to the other end and returned just like the famous American Doc Cochran used to do. So again, students, these are the names. Okay, this Doc Cochran is a famous swimmer's name. Further, let me tell you. Okay, so this Gilbert Peak is the mountain peak. Here it is, this Gilbert Peak. It is the name of the mountain peak. Okay, do not get confused. These are the names of abroad countries, cities and places over there. Okay, so William shouted with joy as he had overcome his fear. His voice resounded as the mountain peak named Gilbert Peak reverberated it. Okay, so it came back. He had overcome the fear. So finally he get to know that yes, now I have overcome my fear. I can swim anywhere. I'm ready to swim anywhere. I'm perfect now. Okay, the experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. In death there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, "All we have to fear is fear itself. Bache, this line is very important. This line is very important from the point of view of the exam. All we have to fear is fear itself. Okay, so please pay attention towards who said this, what is the meaning, what is the relevance of this line in this chapter. Because I had experienced both the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can produce, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. At last, I felt released, free to walk the trails and climb the peaks and to brush aside fear. So, what writer means to say by these lines is the experience had a great importance in William's life. He realized that death was peaceful. Death में कोई terror नहीं है. There is no fear in death. वो तो बहुत शांतिपूर्ण है, बहुत peaceful है. And only the fear of death was fearful. That fear that we are going to die, that fear makes death more fearful. Okay, he recollects the words of one of the presidents of America, Roosevelt. Roosevelt had said that all we have to fear is fear itself. As William had experienced death and the fear of death, his desire to live grew immensely. The one who has experienced death, very closely, his desire to live life grows immensely, and that is a fact also. He felt released from fear and was free to walk up the trails and climb up the mountains fearlessly. Okay, so this was our chapter. We have completed it successfully. Now let us quickly see the message which this chapter gives, or any other important thing if we feel like. Okay, let me tell you the chapter's message. William Douglas was able to overcome his fear by sheer determination. So the message which is conveyed by this story is that it is not death, but the fear of death that creates terror in our mind. So that fear needs to be shaken off. Also, any fears can be conquered if we try hard enough. Right? And what does this deep water signify? Deep water. Deep water signifies, once you are in a very dangerous or vulnerable situation, in a serious situation, especially one that is too difficult or is beyond the level of one's ability. So that is called the deep water signify here. Okay, so students, I hope the chapter must be clear to all of you. I have already underlined the words, the sentences which are of importance in this chapter. Go through the explanation, as I can see that many of you are not logging in, not watching the videos. So do watch the videos carefully. It's very important. And English, I feel like it is the underrated subject. You always ignore it, but this is the subject in which can increase your percentage, and you can score really very good in it. And feel the literature, the way of writing of the emotions which the author really wants to highlight. So just feel that, and the stories are really very interesting. Enhance your vocab, read the chapters. I think you all will do wonders. Okay, so question answers as usual I will send in the form of PDF, which you need to do in your copy. I'll see you in my next video. Please take care of yourself, stay indoors, regard your parents, respect them, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.